Hi, Jordan here, and I'm in the studio with my little brother Richy. This is his pride and glory. Together we're going to show you some guitar recording techniques. We're going to show you acoustic, electric and bass, and with different microphone techniques. Alright, let's get into it. So here we are with the acoustic guitar. Now here I've ditched the microphone stand so I can freely move it around to show you what it sounds like. Okay, so what you want to do, if you're unsure what sound you want to go for the middle where the body meets the neck, and that gives an overall picture of the guitar. So let's hear that. And you want to go sort of, about this far. It gives sort of, the richness of the guitar.
How far away do you recommend?
When I was listening to it before, I found about with this microphone, with this guitar, because you've got to always check because your situation is different, but I found about this much was good for this situation.
Okay.
Okay, next we're going to go towards the sound hole of the guitar, and this is a problem area because you get too much mud. This is what it sounds like. Now to combat that, you can go sort of towards an angle, a bit like this. It gives more of a richness without the boominess, because you'll have to edit that out in your session anyway. So coming to this side, if we angle it towards the bridge, it'll give a very unique sound. And the last position I want to show you, it's a very natural sound because it's what the guitarist is used to hearing. So I'm going to prop it up here and angle it down. And you can experiment too. Experiment with angling and maybe a bit under the guitar, a bit over. Here, let's try above the strings.
Okay.
So when you're by yourself, it's probably best to just do a test recording first, move it around, record, play, because it's easier with two of us here. But
I suppose if you were going to go for, I guess, the prime angle, would you probably recommend here? Or I guess it just depends on what sound you want, but that's kind of...
Yeah, so if you're recording a track that's like a finger-picking acoustic guitarist, you want, probably in the middle, give good overall sound. If the mix is very busy, you'd probably want I'd say more body, or more like a pop sound. Probably want more body around here, like classical, natural, probably around here. It all depends. You just have to listen. In audio, there's lots of guidelines, but at the end of the day, you just got to listen.
And this is more for like a mono sort of technique, isn't it? Like,
yes,
there are stereo ways we can do it as well.
That's right. The best way, most studio owners starting out, they won't have stereo and all that. That's a bit advanced, but the best way to do it is to do a performance and then redo the performance, and that way you'll have the two separate ones. You pan it hard left and right. It gives a very full sound, similar to stereo. But with stereo techniques, it gives more detail. But you can buy what's called a matched pair, which is two microphones in the one pack. They're manufactured to be exactly the same, and you can place it there. The best way I found for me, just pretend my two fingers are two condenser microphones, like the long skinny ones. You can do it in a crisscross pattern right at the bridge, and it picks up half of the body and half of the string. Gives a good sound, and you can sort of adjust it. Another one is two spaced pairs like this, and you got to be careful with phase, because phase is when the two microphones aren't lined up. They've got to be exactly lined up.
So phase is going to give you kind of like that kind of wishy-washy type of sound.
If it's not intact, yeah.
Like I find that, you know, that can happen quite easily with cymbals on drums and that. Like you can hear kind of like this phasey, like wishy-washy type weird sound happening.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it takes a little practice to get good at stereo microphone techniques, but with the acoustic guitar, it's best just to do two performances with one. You'll get wide sound, and that concludes acoustic guitar. Okay, so here I am in the vocal booth. I'm going to show you some bass guitar techniques. I'm a little crammed in because it's designed for just one person standing up. So let me show you what's happening. So I'm going to record the bass guitar with a microphone combined with a DI box. So what it's doing, it's splitting the signal, and then it's going to be combined inside your DAW. So why a DI box? Well, if you record a bass guitar straight into your interface, it's not going to sound as good as doing it through a DI box. I guess a DI box is designed to do exactly what it's supposed to do, where a DI box built in your interface isn't up to the job. I've actually tested myself. Doing it through a DI box, you get more high frequency content. So what I'm going to show you is some techniques. I'm going to fiddle around with the dials and see what tone we're going to come up with. Okay, now it's time to play the bass guitar. Richy's going to do that outside of this vocal booth. And what I've done, I was going to use this, but it wasn't really working. So this is the kick drum mic. And this is one of the tom mics. This is working a lot better. So I'm going to wave this around like the acoustic guitar video. I'm going to do that here. Okay, so Richy, take it away.
Yep.
Okay, so what I've done, the microphone, whenever it was in front, it wasn't very good. There was too much high energy coming back this way. So I had to bring it to the side to get rid of the hiss. And when I moved it back, it sort of made it a bit more focused. Okay, so what I've done on the amp dial was, you see the gain, I've turned it right up to give it more grit. Bass I've left alone. Now the middle frequency knob, I've turned it up just to 1, just a touch, and I've changed the frequency down to 200. It gives it a bit of a 200 boost, gives it more body to the bass. And with everything else, treble I've just kept the same, and volume I had to keep down because the gain knob was turned up. And I've got a little compression knob, I've pushed that in just to give it a bit of kick. So now that we're in Logic, I'm going to show you what you need to do to the tracks so that they're in phase. So the reason why they're not currently in phase is because the two tracks are arriving in your session at different times. So what we got to do, we got to line them up. So this is currently what it sounds like. Okay, no good. So what we're going to have to do is zoom right in and line it up manually. Okay, so the start with the start. Now it's not going to be absolutely perfect. We'll have a listen. That's better. So the two tracks are sent to the group track. Okay, so on the bass mic track, I'm going to actually nudge it along with sample delay. Whoops, wrong one. So delay, sample delay, and what this does, this shifts the track along, but with the samples. So this gives just a little lining up. So that's about 3 samples. Let's take it off. So it changes tone a little bit. I like it with about 3 seconds. It just lines it up better than what I can actually do it with the mouse. Okay, so there's a number of things that we can do here. Now with the DI track, the DI track is very punchy, defined, and the bass mic brings a bit of character to it. Now you don't have to have both a bass mic and a DI. You can just have the DI on its own, and will sound really nice. But I'm doing this just to show you can get a little flavour behind it. What I'm going to do with the bass mic, I'm just going to cut some low end on it, so make sure it's a linear phase, because without that it might suck the bass out, because you're adding another track to it that's going into a bus. So I've cut out around 1/16, and so the lower bass is going to be occupied by the DI box. So this is what it sounds like without it. So that cleans it up just that little bit. Next, I'm going to give the bass mic a bit of grit. So I'm using a pedal board. It's not playing nice today. Here we go. Now on its own it might not sound that great. It might sound too distorted, but if you blend to taste and add it with the track cuts in through the mix. So we only got the bass track today. Thanks so much for being here and watching those recording tips. Now I did touch on electric guitar. We didn't have time to do that today, so I'm going to cover that in another one. I'll see you next time, guys.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yep.
Next time.
Keep up the good work.